The question asks you to find the inverse function of the function given f of x equals 5 over x minus 1. Remember, our steps are to take the given function f of x equals 5 divided by x minus 1, change f of x to a y, so y equals 5 divided by x minus 1, then swap x and y. So your y becomes an x and your x becomes a y. So you change your f of x to y, then you consider your y and your x and you swap places with that x and that y. Now you solve for your new y. So your new y here needs to be solved for, so we'll multiply both sides by y minus 1, so x times y minus 1 equals 5 over y minus 1 times y minus 1. We did that. So we're asked to find the inverse function of the given function f of x is equal to 5 divided by x minus 1. I've given you the steps below. Step 1 says to change f of x to y. So in our problem, that means that instead of f of x we're going to write this as a y. So we have y equals 5 divided by x minus 1. So that was step number 1. Step number 2 tells us to swap our x and y values. So we'll now change our y to an x and we'll change our x to a y. Now step 3 says solve for our new y. So the y that we have here is not the original y that we started with. We swapped our x and y places. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by y minus 1 so that we can cancel the fraction and begin to solve for our new y. So I multiply the left hand by y minus 1. I multiply the right hand side by y minus 1. When I do to one side, I have to do the other. My y minus 1's cancel on the right hand side. On the left hand side, I have x times y minus 1 equals 5. Again, I'm trying to solve for y. My y is stuck inside this parentheses. We want to be able to get it by itself. In order to do that, we need to distribute our x. So we'll now distribute x. We have x times y minus x equals 5. Again, we still want to solve for y, so we're going to add our x to the other side. Take this x and add it to the other side. So when we do that, we have x times y equals 5 plus x. And then the last step to solve for y is we will take this x and divide it to both sides. So divide both sides by x. And we're left with y equals 5 plus x divided by x. Now, we've not completed the problem yet because our last step says that we have to change our y to this f inverse of x. We have to call it f inverse of x instead of y. It's not the same y that we started with. So that's what we'll do now. We'll rewrite it so that we have, instead of y, we have f inverse of x. It's our new function, equals 5 plus x divided by x. And this is the answer to the problem. Although this is the correct answer, the answer that the homework is looking for is f inverse of x is equal to x plus 5 over x. Your answer on a test, I would accept either one of these. They are both equally correct.